Hi, everyone. It's Kelly from the Hub here today with Pastor Jim from Bergstrasse. How are you, my friend?
Good morning. I'm okay.
Good.
It's a
It's
good
March,
day.
man. It's
It is
March.
March, and it came in for like a lion where I live.
Did it?
There was a lot of wind where I live.
Okay. All right. Wind.
I live on top of a hill.
That's true. That's true. So in like a lion, out like a lamb?
That's what we say.
Fabulous.
We'll know in about 30 days.
Yeah, that's right. So we've said this many times. It's Tuesday when we record, and you guys get to see it on Thursday. Yeehaw. And today is Read Across America Day. For some people, that's Read Across America Week. For some people, that's Dr. Seuss's birthday. Oh, the places you'll go. And so we thought it would be fun to talk about reading.
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
Okay. I always liked Hop on Pop as a kid because I thought that was a funny thing.
Green eggs and ham.
I read that to some kids. Oh my goodness. I'm just thinking about it. I read that to some kids in Ephrata at one of the elementary schools last year during Read Across America Day.
Oh, wow.
And we had so much fun. Thank you for bringing that up. I totally spaced it until just now. So they were adorable kids. And I said, all right, when we get to that part, you got to say it with me. And they were like, I do not like them, Sam, I am. And so it got so loud that every time I would go, okay, let's do it whisper. And then they would do it whisper. And then I would say, let's do it like cats. And they were like, I do not. So we did different voices. We had so much fun reading together. It was great.
Who doesn't love Dr. Seuss, you know?
Well, I mean, the rhyming,
the tongue twisters, I mean, but that's what makes it good. That's what makes it stick.
Yeah. And then when you're older, you're like, oh, there were messages there, man.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't just words that happened to rhyme. There were things there that I'm supposed to learn. Yeah. Like when you're, even like an older kid, you were like, oh, the Lorax really is about the trees. And you learn all those other kinds of things. Yeah. Yeah. It's really about conservation and all that stuff. So we're, before this, when Pastor Jim and I were chatting, we were talking about when do you read? Because I'm a kid who, I was a kid who grew up, and when I was little, Mom would take me to the library every week, and I would get out the maximum number of books I could every week. I don't know what that number was, but when you're a little kid, it's a stack. I mean, it's,
Sure.
it's a huge amount of books. And I would read those, and Mom would get a little frustrated if I finished before the week was up, because then I'm thrown off the schedule.
I need new books, Mom.
Right. So we grew up, when it was just my mom and I, we were pretty poor. And so I didn't know that was my entertainment, and that never changed in my life. And so I super love that. So we were talking about that. When do you read for pleasure as grown-ups? And your answer, Pastor Jim, was?
I find it hard to read for fun. It's part of my makeup. To sit down and just read a book for the sake of reading a book, a novel or something like that. Yeah, that's hard. It's hard for me because it's hard for me to just kind of let go and let be.
So the question everyone has is, are all the books behind you for work? Because as you say that, you've got, 45,000 books behind you. Are those books for work?
It's only 4,000 books.
It's only 4,000.
Yes, those are all from work.
Yeah.
Those are all work related.
that's an interesting thing, that as kids, we read for fun because we haven't entered that part of our lives. And that I think a lot of people read, if they read for work, as not for fun.
Yeah, I read for knowledge. I read for information. Um, I mean, that's generally what I will go to, but I will say, once in a while I'll figure something out. But see, I also know too that if I'm reading for fun and for relaxation, I don't do fiction very well.
Oh, we're so the opposites on that.
I
Okay.
don't do
So
fiction.
when you read for fun, you read nonfiction.
It's got to be nonfiction, maybe an autobiography or a biography, or the only fiction I will read is if it's like a historical fiction novel. So in other words, you might take an event in history and then you kind of put it into another story. So
But you like it more historical, less fiction. Yeah.
right.
Okay. So
Yeah. So don't ask me about Star Wars or Tolkien, Lord of the Rings. Yeah, they're
that's just not your jam.
just not my genre.
Yeah.
Although I will tell you, I read The Hunger Games,
Oh, there you go.
but oh my gosh, please don't throw tomatoes. Harry Potter?
What? Oh, you didn't like Harry Potter.
No, I didn't read it.
Oh, you didn't read Harry Potter.
Read it. I mean,
Okay.
I know little bits, but I mean, I can't connect all of the dots to know the Harry Potter story.
But to be fair, a lot of adults read Harry Potter because they had kids in that age range. And so their kids essentially grew up with Harry Potter and the adults read that. So let's be real fair. How many adults would have read Harry Potter if they didn't have children? I mean, I did, but that was a whole other conversation. That's a whole
That's a
other
different
thing.
lifetime.
Yeah. And I'm a reader. But see, now I think that's fascinating that that's where your brain goes. And for me, it's entirely the opposite. Nonfiction is like my life.
Ah,
And if I have to read a nonfiction book, it is for work. And it's a task. I'm not okay. So I was a historian for 100,000 years. And so I don't need, if I read a biography, it's because we're going to talk about it. It's not because I'm like, oh, look, I'm enjoying, no, opposite. So I do my reading two ways now. So I still am an old fan of the book that's you touch, that's in paper. And I know we're not supposed to, okay, scientifically, when you smell the smell and you're like, oh, this smells amazing, old libraries, we all know now that's like sweat, dead skin cells. I mean, it's all it's nasty.
musty, mold.
Right, dirt, mold, it's okay. I still like it. I'm not complaining about that. So this is my paper book that I'm reading right now. This is a series. It's called Bruno, Chief of Police.
Okay.
This is a series. I have three other ones that I haven't started yet. This is The Dark Vineyard. This is Black Diamond. And this is The Crowded Grave. So this is a series, and this isn't the whole series, about this French detective in the country, like the countryside of France, and he does mysteries. It's like Miss Marple in France, but a man. And
Okay.
so like there's good French food and there's cool like historical things. So like the historian in me gets excited. I've always liked mysteries. I am my mother's daughter. And so this is a fun little series. My father got me hooked on this series. I will absolutely be honest about that because when they were in this part of France that the books take place in, he got super excited about it. And he said, you have to read Bruno. And I said, okay. So I'm clearly, as you can see, not that far. It's not easy to read. And the other, I mean, it's not a hard book. It's just sometimes and the other way that I read is here on my phone.
Oh.
Not with my eyeballs. Audio.
Okay. See, I will do audiobooks in the car.
Yeah.
When I'm driving, and I have to be in the car for more than 20 minutes. That's just me. It's just me again. It's like, in 20 minutes, I can be checking the road out. I can be listening to the news because I usually have NPR on. So I'm hearing that kind of stuff. But yeah, I do have some audiobooks that but I will say the audiobooks for me, because I don't listen to them regularly.
Oh.
I gotta take some time to kind of catch up. Now, where was I? Where were we? I mean, granted, it keeps it marked in the audiobook where I am.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Audiobooks, I think, have saved me because I like to drive. And my drive is longer than some people's. And so I love audiobooks in the car. But I have also found that I listen to audiobooks when I fold laundry, and I listen to audiobooks when I chop vegetables. And I'm just starting, don't tell my husband, although I'm sure he hears it. I listen to audiobooks when I'm getting ready in the morning. Like it starts my day off. And so I'm like, doing fate and putting moisturizer on and all that stuff while I'm listening to my audiobook. And however, there's a big giant however. The reader. If the narrator of the book is bad, it could be the best book and I can't listen to it. And I might not even read it with my eyeballs.
I hear you. I think I have 2 audiobooks going on right now with the same person reading them. 2 different books, same person reading 2 different books. And
ooh, is that weird?
That's weird. It's like, which book am I reading? Which one am I listening to right now? It's the same voice. But
I will say that some authors keep the same or keep the same people. Like Stephen King has a couple of like famous actors that he has that read, and they're fantastic.
I think I have one book too where it switches readers somewhere in the middle.
Oh yeah.
And I can't tell the difference.
Oh.
It's hard to tell the difference. I figure, they got to be doing something magic there with the audio that it sounds the same. But
I had a book that there were 6 different readers, and I was like, nope, I can't. No. It was too much. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't. So it's interesting because this reading thing, you said to me, when do I find the time? Because I was like, and I choose to make that time because I feel like I get itchy if I can't read. You know what I mean? If someone's not telling me a story, or I'm not using my eyeballs to read the story. It's neither good nor bad. I just find that interesting, like where people's reading worlds are.
So for me, I know that the morning is the best time for me to read because it's when I retain more of what I've read.
Oh.
If that makes sense. But the morning for me is the best time for a lot of things that I do. And it's just like, I don't have enough time in the morning for all of this stuff. I mean, this is when I do emails, and this is when I do other reading for work and all that kind of stuff. So the fun reading, the kind of relaxing reading kind of gets pushed to later in the day for me.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I open the book up and it's like,
oh yeah.
and that's no fun.
Yeah.
That's no fun.
So we've really just talked about books, and that's pretty not fair in the world of reading. So I used to get the magazine Entertainment Weekly, and my stepmother reads that religiously, top to bottom. I mean, cover to cover every time. So I was like, well, this is a good magazine. And I actually got it because she had it. And so I used to get it, and it's not a thin magazine. It's a lot. There's a lot of articles, and there's a lot of things, and it's about all entertainment. And it was really interesting, and there was a lot of good stuff. And then I was overwhelmed. It's called Entertainment Weekly for a reason, man. It comes every week. I couldn't manage it. I could not manage the volume because I was halfway through the first one and the second one would come. It was too much pressure.
See, I have 2 magazine subscriptions that I get. One of them is Living Lutheran, because that's what Lutheran pastors do and what Lutheran pastors get.
I'm not laughing at you, but who knew that was a magazine?
Who knew that was a thing, right?
Living Lutheran.
My issue came yesterday, and I read it while I was eating dinner.
There you go.
And the thing about magazines is, at least in this one, and in the other one that I read is Christian Century.
Oh, so both of your magazines, okay, would you consider those for fun or for work?
I consider this one fun work.
Okay.
The other one, Christian Century, is much more work.
Okay.
Got to think about that. That's a little bit deeper. This here is good stuff that's going on in the church and all of that kind of stuff.
Oh, neat.
The other one is stuff that makes me get a headache, gives me a headache sometimes because it's so deep.
But so sometimes it's good to do that.
So that one I don't read as regularly, but that comes twice a month. But yeah.
Yeah. And I found a new magazine during COVID that I really want to get, and I really think I should get it in print, and that's the Atlantic.
Oh, so I have to be honest. So there's a member of my congregation, who actually we should have in this conversation, because I think he reads about a dozen books a week. That's probably exaggerated, but I mean,
maybe it's 9. That's the same number.
But it's still a lot of books, because every week I get a new book from him to read. and I think I have 2 stacks of books. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't get these.
Yeah.
So some of them I know are on a pile that he says just give to the library.
Yeah.
Skip to the library occasionally. And then where was I going with this?
I talked about the Atlantic.
Oh, the Atlantic.
Yeah.
He's been giving me his copies of the Atlantic when he's finished with them, and I'm finding them very interesting.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I think I'm gonna have to start my subscription. It shows up on my little news thingy sometimes on my phone. And every time I read an article from the Atlantic, I mean, we're not doing a commercial, nor are we looking for sponsorship, but feel free if you'd like. But
yes, please.
Yeah, it's lovely. And I think that, so for people who aren't like book readers, which I can understand, it's a lot of pressure, man. It's a lot of pressure. Magazines, there's a million thousand gajillion things to read. I'm not a fan of graphic novels. It's just not my thing. But I know for some people, that's their jam. And they're not all Spider-Man. For those people who are like, it's Spider-Man, man, why is that? Put that away in your head. That is a tiny little square of what the graphic novel universe can be. And there's lots of things. It's Read Across America Day. You should do it. And I said, I did a little post about it this morning because I was super excited, but 20 minutes, just 20 minutes today. And you should read for fun, whether it's your eyeballs or just your ears, whatever.
So as I'm sitting here, I just remembered that I just started something new at Bergstrasse Church, where I just started a book swap because I probably know of about a half a dozen people who read regularly.
Yeah.
And so I just sort of set up an area and I said, got a book, bring it in. Want a book, pick one up. And so I just literally set it up this week.
That's awesome.
So of course they get the books that I've just read, which are all theology books. I imagine they'll be there for months.
But that's cool.
I have a new one to take over. It's called The Sin of Certainty.
Is it about sin?
No, it's about certainty.
Oh, it's about certainty.
And the way that we believe and how we understand God. And God's got to be a certain way. And this author
like the rules.
We need to get rid of that.
Okay.
There's a different understanding. So I might get, there might be somebody that'd be interested in that, but I'm curious to see what happens, because I know the readers that I know in my congregation are all across the board in topics and genres and all of that. I know there's one person that reads Westerns.
Wow.
One who reads a lot around social issues. There's one who reads about personal interest stories.
Yeah.
And then there's me that reads theology.
Okay, so one of my good friends, I will not say what she does, librarian, but it's not Penny. It's a different librarian, because, you should have multiple librarian friends. She always said to me, she goes, I read so much because I'm a librarian that when I read for fun, she goes, I only read trashy romance novels. And I love that she admits that, because her whole life is reading. She reads reviews. She'll read stuff that like if all the ninth graders are reading that, she will reread it so that she can help them do stuff or whatever. And we had book clubs when I was teaching with the kids. We read all the Hunger Games together, and then we went and saw the Hunger Games. It was really cool. But so she's like, nope, trashy romance, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah. That's. Mm-hmm.
I tried trashy romance. It's not my genre. I tried it. It makes me laugh. It's just not my genre.
Yeah, that's just not something that would interest me at all.
Yeah. I like mysteries, and I like, I don't know, like big, thick dramas.
So when you talk about mysteries,
yeah,
I did. Now this has been in a couple years. I read Dan Brown's books.
Oh yeah, Dan Brown's books are really cool. That's like the Illuminati, and he has like all those cool like religious historical connection-y ones.
For me, that's that historical novel type stuff.
Yeah. And those were some of those were made into movies, so that's how a lot of people know them. But yeah, those are good. Lots of twists and turns.
Yeah, those are good. I like those.
Yeah.
Like those.
See? So are you going to take 20 minutes today and just read something nice and fun for yourself? You have a biography there. Are you in the middle of it, or did you finish it?
Which one? The one that
you showed before we started? You showed me Bobby Kennedy.
Oh, I read this last spring.
Oh, how was it?
I liked it, but again, it's a biography.
Yeah.
It's a biography. I like the Kennedys.
Yeah.
And I was just very interested in how he faced what he needed to face as Attorney General, as a president's son, a brother.
Well, and for me, that's written by Chris Matthews, the guy from MSNBC, who has been in politics for 100 years. He used to work for Tip O'Neill, former Speaker of the House back in the day. And so Chris Matthews is a old school Democrat. So, it makes sense that would be something that he would write. So for me, I would like to read it. Even though historically, Bobby Kennedy and I are almost brothers, I feel like I would like to read it to see what's Chris Matthews's bent on it.
So one of the other things about Bobby Kennedy for me, and this is kind of sad in a way, but I was in the hospital to have my tonsils removed when his funeral. So I watched his funeral when I was in the hospital.
See, we all have a thing.
But there's just something about biographies of people that, people that I believe have made a difference,
Yeah.
or are making a difference in our society. So that's, I like that too. Yeah, I got a stack here, but yeah, they're all kind of theology books. A Father and Son.
Oh, there we go. See, you're just going to show us all of your theology books, because then you're going to see, oh, why I left, why I stayed. That's interesting. See?
Shout out to Tony Campolo and his son. Different sides of the spectrum of religion and faith, and why I left and why I stayed.
Yep. So, friends, enjoy Read Across America today.
Yes.
Read something. Read a little Dr. Seuss. Have a little hop on pop for yourself. It could be quite lovely.
Well, I think I'm gonna go pour another cup of coffee and have green eggs and ham.
Oh, have a lovely time. See you, everybody.
See ya.